Hey, everybody, I'm Dan Davidson.
And I'm Bill Smith, and it's time for the news from TrekNews.net. Spanning the Alpha Quadrant. For all the news on all the Star Treks, yo. It's TrekNews.net.
Wow, that just off the top of my head. That's all I got to say.
I need a second. Oh,
take as long as you want. We're all here all week.
Online
that was fun.
At TrekNews.net, and we apologize to TrekNews.net for pretty much everything from the beginning up till now. But welcome to the aforementioned news from TrekNews.net, the oldest brand new Star Trek news podcast from Trek Geeks for the week of October 29th, 2020. Dan, lots to talk about this week. Last week we kind of had a nice one-off with Kyle from Trek News. Mm-hmm. This week we got about 4 stories on the docket or so, I think. Math is not hard, but counting is. First up, there was a special unveiling this past weekend in Bloomington, Indiana to commemorate something that hadn't even happened yet.
Yeah, fantastic. This is so cool, man. Yeah, we continue to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Voyager. We've often said that, they've kind of gotten the short end of the stick this year with COVID. It's kind of wiped out the in-person conventions and other special events, but we're just so happy to see this take place this past Saturday afternoon. Now, according to Voyager canon, Captain Catherine Janeway was born in Bloomington, Indiana on May 20th, 2336. Last year, the Captain Janeway Bloomington Collective fan group launched a campaign to fund the construction of a monument to be placed in Bloomington, Indiana, to honor Captain Janeway. Well, the campaign was a huge success, and on Saturday, October 24th, 2020, the monument of Captain Janeway was unveiled, and it's pretty freaking awesome. The monument base is the familiar Voyager Delta, and underneath the bust of Janeway, it reads, quote, "Future birthplace of Captain Catherine Janeway, Bloomington, Indiana, Earth, May 20th, 2336. Now, Kate Mulgrew was able to appear via live stream, where she was obviously very humbled by the honor bestowed on the character she played on television for 70 years. She said, quote, "I'm not often rendered speechless, but in this moment I am. How many people have such a marvelous thing done in their honor, in their memory? It's a wonderful comment on Janeway's legacy, and hearing you all speak today is deeply moving to me. To realize that Janeway has had such an important role in your lives, and I think in cultural history, it not only terribly is affecting for me, but makes my heart to go forth in a new way. And I'm doing that with prodigy, but this recognition is something extraordinary to me, and I'm deeply proud to be honored in this way." End quote. And Bill, it's just a great moment in the celebration of Voyager 25. Janeway and Kate deserve this honor, and Star Trek as a whole.
I actually watched it on Saturday. It was a great little event.
Nice.
The live streaming was fantastic. Some few audio issues with echoing for some of the prepackaged video. But they really put some time and some effort and some care into the whole event. And it was an event. Mm-hmm. It was really great to see and to witness even from a distance. And like you said, kudos to Kate and to Janeway and to Voyager for this legacy being projected forth into the universe. I can't wait to see what happens with Janeway and Prodigy. Yeah. And I can't wait to see all the photos from people taking their selfies at this brand new statue, because I think it's going to be awesome.
I think we might have to head to Bloomington at some point.
I think you're probably right. And if we don't stop off and see Fark about an hour north of that, I think he'll be pretty upset.
Or very happy, one or the other.
Yeah, that's probably true. In other news, Dan, we know Discovery Season 3 has kicked off and streaming on CBS All Access and Netflix and the rest of the world. And we're having a great time discussing it over at Discovering Trek. And based on this latest news, buddy, you're going to need to schedule some additional podcast time to continue those discussions.
Yeah, I'm not upset about that, and indeed I will. I'll be happy to do so. It was announced last week that Discovery Season 4 will start production on November 2nd. Just a week or so away. CBS released a video featuring stars Sonequa Martin Green, Doug Jones, and executive producers and co-showrunners Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise talking about their excitement for returning to the set and bringing the fans another great season of Discovery. You can check out the video over at treknews.net. And Bill, I got to say, for a show that, according to a lot of idiots on social media, is canceled just about every other week, the announcement of season 4 is pretty awesome. And yeah, I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
No doubt, right? The really big news here is that I think we're going to have the same showrunner for 2 seasons in a row, which will be the first for Discovery.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's yet to happen. And so far it looks like that's the case. No, this is fantastic news. I know that they've been making preparations up at Pinewood in Toronto for the cast to come back. Mm-hmm. Getting things probably built and and ready and out of mothballs and all set up and working for the cast to start filming. I'm looking forward to this. I'm interested to hear what their process will be.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they will have some real social distancing going on when they're not on set together. Mm-hmm. And that would actually be interesting to find out. I'm curious as to what precautions they're taking as far as that goes.
Want to take a drive? No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I don't think we can get across the border.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Especially with your face.
Exactly.
But season 4, great news. I imagine that it's going to be about this time next year we hear about season 5.
Yeah.
And we'll get to take this victory lap yet one more time.
They're good laps. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, same here. Dan, next up, it looks like retro toy maker Mego, the company that made all those classic dolls for the original series back in the 1970s, is adding some new Star Trek figures to their resuscitated lineup.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Mego relaunched their company back in 2018, and they've been slowly adding to their line of Star Trek toys, and they just announced that they're boldly going into Star Trek's latest chapter with the launch of Star Trek Discovery-related figures, which is awesome. Now, debuting in the United States in select Walmart stores for only $14.99, the 8-inch Commander Saru figure is the first of 3 Star Trek Discovery figures coming from Mego. They also have announced plans to release figures for Commander Michael Burnham and also Captain Christopher Pike, and those are expected to hit stores in the first parts of 2021. Now, in the United Kingdom, these figures will be available exclusively at B&M stores. Also announced that Mego will be adding both Q from Encounter at Farpoint and Locutus of Borg to its TNG line, which saw Picard and Data released earlier this year. Suggested retail price will be the same at $14.99, and those will also be available at Walmart sometime next year. So
what I hear you saying is I need to start budgeting.
Yeah, you need 14, so 28, 29, so 30, for about $60. So maybe a little more, 70 something. Yeah.
It was shipping, probably.
Yeah, okay. Because we're going to Walmart, getting us some figures, yo.
I'm going to go to Walmart.com because the fewer trips I take to a Walmart, the better.
That's not a lie.
I've seen the Saru piece. I saw somebody posted on Twitter. They actually saw it at a store in the UK, I think.
Already? Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think there was one in the wild. And the sculpting on the face is pretty good. The body is not as tall as I would expect, but you can bet I'm going to add that to my collection because it's Saru.
Right next to the Saru bust that you had him autograph last year, yeah.
Yeah, and my Saru Funko, which is right next to that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I think this is great. It's nice to see Mego back. Those toys were a part of so many people's childhoods. Yours, mine, tens of thousands of others. And I'm glad that they're creating new stuff again. That makes me happy.
It's nice to see you happy.
Shut up. And finally, Dan, we want to throw out a spoiler alert to those of you who may not yet seen season 1 of Star Trek Picard. You might want to skip this next story, so we'll give you a moment to fast forward for a little bit. Now then, everyone who watched season 1 of Star Trek Picard, as well as those who were part of the cast, loved seeing Will Riker and Deanna Troi show up in season 1. And for those who love Star Trek novels, more from those characters is on the way.
I love Star Trek novels.
Yay!
Yes. I'm always excited to hear about new Star Trek novels, man. And this one is no different. Simon & Schuster have announced a new tie-in novel to Star Trek Picard, and it'll be a prequel focusing on Captain Riker and his family on the USS Titan, which... Another spoiler alert. So I don't want to give it out. Never mind. Called the
That's not really a spoiler.
Okay. Well, it showed up. Called The Dark Veil, this novel is written by veteran Star Trek novelist James Swallow and is set a year after Picard's abrupt resignation from Starfleet, while William Riker and Deanna Troi were still serving on the USS Titan. The official synopsis reads, "The Alpha Quadrant is mired in crisis." Within the United Federation of Planets, a terrorist strike on the shipyards of Mars has led to the shutdown of all relief efforts for millions of Romulans facing certain doom from an impending supernova. But when the USS Titan is drawn into a catastrophic incident on the Romulan Federation border, Captain William Riker, his family, and his crew find themselves caught between the shocking secrets of an enigmatic alien species and the deadly agenda of a ruthless Tal Shiar operative. Forced into a wary alliance with a Romulan starship commander, Riker and the Titan crew must uncover the truth to stop a devastating attack. But one wrong move could plunge the entire sector into open conflict. Sign me up, dude. I'm there. Pre-ordering that baby.
I say signing you up. Does that mean you're going to be on a starship millions of miles away from me? Because I will find a way to make that happen. No?
It's time for the news.
No, I mean, I'm glad that they're fleshing out some of this era in Star Trek. We've always wanted to know what happened to some of these characters after Nemesis.
Right.
And what a great way to extend the storytelling for Riker and Troi in particular.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they have anything to do. You know, we had a little bit of backstory with them in that episode of Picard with their kids. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see if that is discussed in this novel. I'm looking forward to it. James Swallow does great Star Trek novels, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. You can bet that I'm going to get the audiobook version for that as well. I can't wait to hear that. So, Dan, that about does it for the news from TrekNews.net for the week of October 29th, 2020. I want to remind everyone that for all the news on all the Star Trek show, please visit our great friends at TrekNews.net. Have a great week, everyone. Live long and prosper.
Coconut. There it is. Coconut.